Part 3. Endgame, 1944 to 1945. D-Day, Firestorms, and a new world being born. Deep cut. By 1944, the Allies have gas, gear, and good intel, and a calendar that hates fascism. The longer this runs, the worse it gets for the Axis. Time has picked a side. 1. D-Day, turning a beach into a bridge. Overlord isn't just an invasion. It's an engineering illusionist act with a side of weather app doom-scrolling. Fortitude sells a fake army at Pas-de-Calais, rubber tanks, spoof radios, and celebrity decoy Patton, so German reserves sit in the wrong place while the real blow falls on Normandy. Engineers prefab Mulberry harbors, one will later vanish in a storm, and lay Pluto, a literal pipeline under the ocean, to feed gasoline to an army that drinks like a fleet. Before dawn, June 6, 1944, airborne troops snatch bridges and sow chaos. At first light, Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, Sword erupt. Omaha is a meat grinder. Tiny squads claw up bluffs as destroyers nose in dangerously close to rake the defenses. By night, a fragile seam becomes a foothold, and the foothold is all you need. The west has a beachhead. The east, it's about to swing a sledgehammer named Bagration. 2. Operation Bagration. The day an army group disappeared. Summer 1944, while Germany stares at Normandy, the Red Army erases Army Group Center. It's not a battle, it's a landslide. Belarus swallowed, command posts overrun, and entire corps evaporate. The offensive thunders through to Poland, and the eastern map turns into confetti. From here on, the Reich is a house with no back wall. Every shove shakes the whole structure. With front sprinting, air power finally cashes the checks it's been writing since 1943. 3. Strategic bombings peak. Oil, rails, and reality. The combined bomber offensive wasn't about scaring a nation. It was a systems attack. By 1944, long-range P-51 escorts ride shotgun to the heartland while bombers maul oil refineries and rail yards. Fuel output craters. The Luftwaffe runs on fumes. Pilot training becomes a conveyor belt to disaster. It doesn't win the war alone, but it makes everything else cheaper in blood, especially when armored columns can't move and fighters can't fly. Also, remember Britain in 1940? The Blitz proved terror doesn't break a people by itself. Strategy greater than spectacle. Now that skies are friendlier, it's time to punch out of the hedges and start running. 4. Breakout. Bocage, Cobra, and a pocket with teeth. Normandy's bocage is nature's tank trap. Earthen walls, sunken lanes, ambush country. The fix? Field expedient hedgerow cutters, point-blank artillery, and a doctrine refresh. Operation Cobra, late July, blows a hole near St. Lo. Patton's Third Army surges like water through cracked concrete. A German repost at Mortain stalls. Then the Falaise pocket snaps shut in August, mangling Army Group B. Paris rises and is liberated August 25th. The Allied tempo is ruthless. Only fuel and bridges can slow it. Hungry for a shortcut, the Allies try an airborne magic trick and discover gravity still works. 5. Market Garden and the Bulge, big swings, bigger bills. Market Garden, September 44, strings an airborne carpet across the Netherlands to leap the Rhine. Several bridges fall, Arnhem doesn't. A bridge too far. The failure leaves a bruise the size of a country. In December, Hitler gambles his last. The Ardennes offensive, Battle of the Bulge, punches a dent. Bastogne replies, nuts. Then the weather clears, fuel starves, and the attack dies, along with Germany's hopes of bargaining. By March 1945, the Allies are over the Rhine. Remagen's intact bridge first, amphibious crossings elsewhere, and the Ruhr is a pocket, not a powerhouse. As the lines move, the worst secret of the war steps into the light. 6. The Holocaust. Uncovered? What the front lines revealed and why it matters for the narrative? As Allied armies punched into the Reich, the abstract word persecution turned into physical places. Barbed wire, crematoria, ledgers of names that simply stop. This wasn't a last-minute spasm. It grew from years of ghettoization, deportations, and Einsatzgruppen mass shootings that followed every German conquest in the East. Your docs trace that escalation clearly. The invasion of Poland didn't just redraw borders, it installed a system, SS death squads terrorizing, ghettoizing, and murdering Jews and intelligentsia, that made later industrialized killing possible. By 1944 to 45, the Allies were liberating the places where the policy ended, camps whose very design industrialized murder. The shock wasn't only moral, it was evidentiary. Records, facilities, survivors' testimony, forcing governments to treat never again as an operational requirement, not a slogan. Your files position this reveal amid the collapsing front, reminding viewers that the crime scene was European-wide, not confined to a single country. Europe is reeling. Across the world, another endgame is grinding up volcanic rock and carrier decks, and it's about to pull physics into strategy. 7. The Pacific Gauntlet, Saipan to Okinawa. After Midway and Guadalcanal, the U.S. turns islands into airfields into highways. Tarawa, Saipan, Guam, Peleliu, Leyte, each a bleeding seminar in amphibious warfare. The Philippine Sea becomes the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. U.S. subs quietly strangle Japan's merchant fleet. Then come Iwo Jima and Okinawa, killing fields where kamikazes sear the fleet and the price tag for invading the home island skyrockets. Conventional fire can erase a city. A new physics can end a war. 8. Firestorms and fission. How bombing actually forced the endgame in Japan. By early 1945, B-29s were burning Japanese cities built of wood and paper. The fire raids didn't just level neighborhoods, they shredded the urban industrial ecosystem. Workshops, transport nodes, skilled labor concentrated in city grids. Yet the cabinet still refused surrender. Your PDFs set the stage. After Iwo Jima and Okinawa, with kamikazes scourging the fleet and invasion estimates soaring, Washington introduces a different lever, nuclear weapons, while Moscow adds a second shock, the Soviet invasion of Manchuria, which annihilates the Kwantung Army in days and kills Tokyo's last hope for a mediated peace. The 1-2 hit lands August 6th, Hiroshima, and August 9th, Nagasaki. The same week, the Red Army storms into Manchuria and collapses the fight-to-the-last calculus. Your sources underline the sequencing and effect. Atomic strikes plus Soviet entry cracked both military capacity and political will, tipping the emperor toward the August 15th announcement and the formal September 2nd signing aboard USS Missouri. It's strategy, science, and geopolitics intersecting on a single week's calendar. Pens finish what physics and the Red Army started. But signatures also redraw a planet. 9. 2 surrenders, 1 redrawn planet, May 8, 1945. Germany surrenders, VE Day. September 2, 1945, Japan signs aboard the USS Missouri, VJ Day, after announcing surrender on August 15th. Soldiers go home, if home still exists. Borders shift, empires wobble. Millions of refugees step onto roads that were battlefields last week. We began with broken institutions. We end by building new ones and inventing the stalemate that will define a century. 10. The aftermath. Cold peace, hot lessons. The United Nations rises where the League failed. Europe hardens into Cold War lines. The resource logic that powered World War II reappears as alliances, trade systems, and deterrence. From Bletchley's proto-computing to atomic shockwaves, science leaps forward, its promises and perils now welded to policy. The war that began as a sprint for resources ends as a world built to manage them, or at least argue about them before shooting starts. If this trilogy helped you see World War II's moving parts, ideas, oil, industry, and the people who refuse to break, subscribe and drop a comment on which front you want a deep dive on next. Stalingrad day by day, Midway minute by minute, the Blitz from the street? Your pick might be our next upload.